So, you see, ring around the rosy refers to the horrible symptoms of a terrifying disease. A disease which... Zim! Sir! There's a pigeon on your head. You've got head pigeons. Get to the nurse before they spread to the other children.
Yes, Miss Bitters.
If you'd like to commission a knick-knack sample platter, instructions in the description below. You ever think about breathing? Like, it's weird how your body just automatically breathes for you, but the moment you start thinking about it, the automation stops, and you have to consciously make yourself breathe until your mind focuses on something else. I know you've had this experience because it's happening right now. Ain't I a stinker? We put so much of what it means to be a living, organic flesh person out of sight and out of mind in our day-to-day, and whenever we're confronted by that reality, it's like being jostled awake. So here's a cartoon all about that. Germs/Dark Harvest is the 4th episode of Invader Zim's first season, originally airing on Nickelodeon on April 20th, 2001. Germs was co-written by show creator Jonan Vasquez and series regular Rob Hummel. After watching a sci-fi movie in which an alien invasion is dispatched by bacteria, Zim becomes paranoid about the presence of germs within his own home, going so far as to order special germ-detecting goggles. After a fruitless battle against the invisible menaces, Zim wanders into a fast food restaurant and discovers that their meat patties are mysteriously germ-free. What sorcery is this?
Only recently has their hard work paid off, as even more advances in the field of space meat have been made and applied to what is now called Operation Meat. Seeing this as a way to end their streak of being sued by angry customers poisoned by their burgers, the McBeaties Corporation decided to try this miraculous space meat. Not having access to that technology, we make ours out of napkins.
Dark Harvest was written by Hummel and Eric Trueheart, who had come off the Wild Thornberrys as a production assistant and would have a very prolific career into the 2000s, including doing a bunch of episodes of Netflix's first animated show, Turbo Fast. Zim, in human disguise, is sent to the school nurse after catching head pigeons. This might be a problem, as Zim lacks human organs and his alien nature would be quickly discovered. Thankfully, he has a convenient organ-stealing device in his techno backpack. As Zim starts harvesting organs from the rest of the class, Dib, armed with some special organ-detecting goggles, attempts to track down the alien and stop him. But for once, the silly little alien boy is an actual, terrifying threat.
That's it, Zim! This has to stop!
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Look at you! You've gone too far! You're a hideous blob of stolen organs!
I've been working out.
Both cartoons are an interesting parallel with each other. Both Germs and Dark Harvest are about the terrifying body horror reality of our organic existence, of things that are usually hidden from us like bacteria or internal organs, and how icked out we get when we're reminded of these things. Both cartoons have a character mail-ordering special sci-fi goggles that can see these invisible realities, and both cartoons end with Zim taking on a new, disturbing form. So it's interesting that these two shorts weren't originally going to be paired together. Dark Harvest was originally going to be paired with Bestest Friend, which is equally as dark. Germs instead allowed Dark Harvest some balance, some levity, opening with a story where Zim is the butt of the joke before a story where Zim is a creepy monster. Germs was originally paired with Nano Zim, which is also about microscopic things, which would have been too much of a parallel. And I think all of this was the right choice. Outside of the weird doubling of the special goggles plot point, Rob Hummel loves him his tech specs, I guess. The two shorts complement each other very well, touching on similar themes of body reality as body horror while allowing different tones. Individually, Germs is very fun, but Dark Harvest is a twisted little horror movie, up there as one of the most affecting pieces the series ever created. Reportedly, the cartoon short upset young test audiences, with one kid crying as they ran out of the room. If anything, Dark Harvest does too good of a job presenting Zim, who is more often than not a punching bag made of his own hubris, as a viable threat. And yeah, he's shown as capable and even clever sometimes throughout the show, but usually with a big asterisk next to his accomplishments. If Zim was this effective and menacing all the time, Earth would be doomed. So it's good that we have Germs here to remind us that he's really not all that tough. I think an interesting comparison can be made to how Invader Zim handles the uncomfortableness of bodies versus how Ren and Stimpy used to do it in their own style of gross-out humor. On Ren and Stimpy, one of their go-to gags would be these gross, over-detailed close-ups of eyes, skin, teeth. Not particularly accurate, but very visceral. These are moments of high contrast compared to the rest of the cartoony visuals. It's almost a jump scare. One moment it's off-putting but silly dog creatures, and then bam, boogers and mold and rot. Nickelodeon's brand identity in the 80s and 90s was built around mess. Slime, gack, pies to the face, tearing your bedroom apart. On Double Dare, you were asked to walk through giant ears full of wax and pick a giant nose for prizes. The Ren and Stimpy close-ups, and the later SpongeBob SquarePants versions of the same gag, were a natural extension of this, if a cynical one. Ha ha ha! Hey, little child, you think boogers are gross, right? Well, get a load of this. On the surface, Invader Zim isn't as gross. Sometimes it gets messy, and the character designs are weird and unsettling most of the time, but that had less to do with hyper-specific details and more weird proportions and unnatural lines, as was the style of the time. That is a spicy hot topic, meatball. Instead, Invader Zim simply uses its audience's own knowledge to unsettle them. Even kids know that germs exist, even if they never see them. Even kids know they're full of organs, even if they don't know what all of those organs do. But like being reminded of breathing, being reminded of these facts puts you on the back foot. For most able-bodied people, and I need to stress this is a generalization, existence 90% of the time is a POV camera and some arms sticking out in front of us. Our senses rarely acknowledge the majority of our body. Hey, I wonder what your gallbladder is doing right now. When was the last time you checked the small of your back? How clean are your eyelashes? Again, I am simplifying a lot of the human experience here. People with, say, chronic issues like pain are much more aware of their own bodies in the day-to-day. But as a generalization, I think this is what the episode is playing to, and I find it way more effective than Ren and Stimpy's fleshy jump scares. There might be some recency bias in all of this, though. We live in a post-COVID world, and something like Germs, which was poking fun at certain extreme hypochondriac behaviors, hits much differently now that we've lived through a version of this for our own well-being. Post-airing context affects Dark Harvest as well. I'll spare you the details, but Invader Zim in general, and Dark Harvest in specific, were brought up during a murder trial in 2006, giving Dark Harvest almost a creepypasta reputation. The actual episode predates all of this context, of course, and without it, it's still a very entertaining and effective half hour of children's body horror. How does it pertain to Invader Zim as a whole? How often did they go to this particular well? That's a discussion for a larger video. This was just a sample.